My assistant never panicked. Not once in 6 years. Which is why when my phone lit up at 2:14 a.m., vibrating across the nightstand like a trapped insect, I answered before the second ring. "Sir, turn on the news." Her voice cracked. "Not fear, shock." I sat up slowly. The room felt colder than it should have. "What channel?" I asked. "Any." The line went dead. No explanation. No apology. Just silence. I grabbed the remote and flicked the TV on. A gala. Flashbulbs exploding like gunfire. Silk gowns. Black tuxedos. Diamonds bright enough to hurt the eyes. Then the camera centered on her. And for a moment, my brain refused to process what it was seeing, because the woman stepping out of a black limousine, draped in diamonds that probably cost more than my entire company, was the same woman who had been eating cheap diner meatballs with me 3 nights a week, the same woman who jogged in old gray sweatpants, the same woman who claimed she was broke, homeless practically. The news anchor spoke with breathless excitement. The elusive billionaire heiress finally appearing. Publicly tonight, after years of staying out of the spotlight, the name hit the room like a gunshot. Eleanor Vos, heir to a global financial empire, worth $11 billion. My lungs locked. Because Eleanor Vos was the woman who had been sitting across from me in a diner booth, pretending she couldn't afford coffee. And suddenly, I remembered her questions. About my business. About my father. About a lawsuit from 15 years ago. Questions that felt casual then. Now they felt like surgery. Precise. Calculated. And somewhere in the back of my mind, a memory stirred. Her father's name. A man who had once sworn he would destroy me. We met 4 months ago at the diner. She said she liked the meatballs. Said the place reminded her of home. I didn't question it. Why would I? She looked normal. No designer clothes. No security detail. Just a woman who ran every morning and ordered the cheapest thing on the menu. Our conversation started small. Weather. Work. Bad coffee. Then they shifted. Slowly, she asked about my company. About the investment firm I built from nothing. About the lawsuit that almost killed it. Her voice was always casual. Curious, but never invasive. At least, not at the time. I told her pieces of the story. How a billionaire investor once tried to crush my company. How the case dragged through courts for years before quietly disappearing. I never told her the name. But she never asked for it either. She just listened, studied, smiled sometimes. Then we started jogging together. Then dinners. Then nights that stretched long past midnight talking about nothing and everything. She never let me pay for anything expensive. Claimed she hated rich people. Said wealth poisoned everything it touched. Looking back now, that line feels like a knife. Because tonight, on the television screen, the same woman walked across a red carpet surrounded by bodyguards, cameras flashing, reporters shouting, and the caption beneath her name read, Eleanor Vos, CEO of Vos Global Holdings, the same company that had tried to bury me 15 years ago, the same company run by Richard Vos, her father, the man who once said in court, "I'll make sure you never work in this industry again." And suddenly, every dinner, every smile, every question felt like surveillance. I didn't call her. Not that night. Not the next morning either. Instead, I started digging, quietly, the way I do when numbers don't add up. My assistant compiled everything. Public records, old lawsuits, corporate filings. Then something strange appeared. 4 months ago, Vos Global opened a private investigative division. Purpose unknown. Same week, Eleanor Vos vanished from public life. No appearances, no interviews, no board meetings. She simply disappeared. The same week, she showed up in my diner, wearing cheap sneakers, ordering meatballs. I leaned back in my office chair and stared at the ceiling. Coincidences exist, but not like this. So I kept digging. Phone records showed something else. She had called only one number consistently. A private satellite line, registered to Richard Vos, her father, my old enemy. My chest tightened. Not rage, something colder. Because suddenly the story felt obvious. She wasn't broke. She wasn't lonely. She was assigned. Planted into my life like a spy, watching, learning, waiting. The question was why? The lawsuit between us ended years ago. I won. Barely. But I won. And Richard Voss hated losing more than anything. Then the final piece arrived. A financial transfer. 3 weeks ago, Voss Global purchased 30% of my company's outstanding debt through shell firms. They were positioning themselves, preparing for something, a takeover, a collapse, or revenge. And Eleanor, the woman laughing across from me over diner meatballs, was the knife they slid between my ribs. I didn't confront her at the diner. That would have been emotional, messy. Instead, I invited her to my office. She arrived exactly the same as always. Gray hoodie, running shoes, hair tied back. She smiled when she saw me. Fancy place for a meatball guy. I slid a folder across the desk. She glanced at it, then back at me. What's this? Open it. Inside were 3 documents: her real identity, the debt acquisition, and a photograph of her leaving the gala last night in diamonds. Worth more than most skyscrapers. She didn't react immediately, just studied the pages, slowly, carefully. Then she sighed. A long breath, like someone dropping a mask they were tired of holding. So, she said quietly, you figured it out. Eventually. Her eyes lifted to mine. No guilt, just calculation. My father said you were smarter than you looked. And you? I said he underestimated you. Silence stretched between us. Heavy. Then I asked the only question that mattered. Why? Her expression hardened. Because 15 years ago, you destroyed him. I shook my head. He tried to destroy me. He lost. She leaned forward. Men like my father don't believe in losing. She expected anger. Accusations. Maybe shouting. Instead, I smiled. A small one. Confused her immediately. Something funny? She asked. I turned my monitor toward her. A financial dashboard filled the screen. Red numbers, blinking alerts. Her brows tightened. What is this? Your father's empire. I tapped a key. More numbers collapsed. Stock values plunging. International markets flashing. You spent 4 months studying my company, I said calmly. But you forgot something. What? I've been studying his for 15 years. Her face slowly drained of color. I opened another file. Documents. Transfers. Hidden investments. You bought 30% of my debt, I continued. But yesterday, I bought 40% of his. Silence. The heavy kind that crushes lungs. Your father declared war a long time ago, I said. So I prepared. Her voice dropped to a whisper. You used me. I shrugged. You started it. The market alert chimed again. Another collapse. Voss Global shares dropping faster than gravity. By tomorrow, I said softly. Your father loses controlling interest in his own company. Her breathing became shallow. The calm billionaire heiress mask cracked. You ruined us. I stood up, straightened my jacket. No, I said quietly. You brought the knife. She didn't chase me when I walked out. Didn't scream, didn't threaten. She just sat there, staring at the numbers falling like rain, maybe realizing something too late. That revenge isn't loud. It isn't violent. It's patient, precise. And sometimes, it's served over diner meatballs. Outside, the air felt cleaner, lighter. My phone buzzed. A message from my assistant. Voss Global just dropped another 12%. I typed one reply. Understood. Then I looked up at the city skyline. Somewhere inside one of those towers, Richard Voss was watching his empire collapse. And his daughter, the woman who thought she was hunting me, had just helped pull the trigger. I never hated Eleanor. Not really. She was just another weapon, pointed in the wrong direction. And weapons eventually backfire. I slipped my phone into my pocket and walked into the night. Because the truth about revenge is simple. The moment you finally win, you realize you stopped caring long ago.